If you're one of those Kenyans who does not like Kimani Ichungwah, then this video might just make your day. But then even if you don't have a problem with a member for Kikuyu, you would still find something very interesting about this video and what happened in Parliament on this day.
Speaker, I don't know what the Mheshimiwa Ichungwah is talking about.
When the National Assembly in Nairobi was discussing the contentious issue of whether Raila Odinga's Azimio were the majority in Parliament, the young and lively politician from Western Kenya, Peter Salasya, was busy showing Kenyans live what exactly was going on inside Parliament. In this video I am just about to play for you, Peter Salasya seems overwhelmed by happiness when he realizes that Kimani Ichungwah was just about to be removed as majority leader during that particular motion. It's Peter Salasya's contagious happiness that started all the trouble that would end up even involving the Speaker of the House, Moses Wetangula.
Hapa mambo imechemka. Wanyama shibi. Hapa mambo imechemka na tutaki mchezo, hata kama si mambo ya nini, tunataka kuonyesha Ichungwah wewe you are nobody. Na nimekaa kwa kona hapa, kazi yangu ni kutoa sauti. Nikitoa hapa hakuna speaker hata viona, kazi yangu ni kushout. Kushout na kutoa sauti. Nikaa kwa kona nikipiga nduru. Ewe Orie, uko poa Mheshimiwa Maungu? Nimekaa hapa kwa kona, kazi yangu ni kupiga kelele. Leo tuko hapa, Ichungwah anakwenda huko.
It turned out that it was actually illegal, according to the laws of Parliament, for the MPs to record on their phones or live stream whatever it is that happens inside the House. But then Kenyans would not expect that there is an MP in Parliament who is a self-appointed prefect that keeps watch to make sure other MPs are not breaking these minor rules in Parliament. But believe it or not, Kimani Ichungwah ended up seeing Peter Salasya's video on the internet, and just like the good student teacher's pet that he is, he ran straight to the head teacher to report Salasya, this time the head teacher being Speaker Moses Wetangula, even though Moses Wetangula himself was being cooked in his own way in that same parliamentary sitting.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine is on a point of order, Honorable Speaker, on a matter of decorum of the House. Because, Honorable Speaker, I was just perusing through what is going on my phone. Yes. And I saw the Honorable Salasya, the member for Mumias, yes, is live streaming
the proceedings of
the House, recording himself from his seat at the back. Honorable Speaker, the House and the Parliamentary Service Commission has given us live coverage on national TV, and we cannot belittle the work of this House through such uncouth methods as live streaming, recording on your phone and live streaming what is going on in the House, and saying very unpalatable things on live media. Now, request that you ask him to even delete those things and apologize to the House.
Honorable Salasya, is that correct?
What followed after Ichungwah had said this about Salasya to the Speaker is not what I had expected. Because after the Speaker had been informed and he decided to attack Peter Salasya right there and then, on his side, Peter Salasya was ready to take the Speaker round and round until his head started spinning. Honorable Salasya would completely refuse to say what the Speaker Moses Wetangula was forcing him to say, knowing that Speaker Moses Wetangula wanted to embarrass him in front of the others. Eventually, the Speaker would end up giving up after Peter Salasya had taken him in circles and eventually beaten him at his own game. This is the whole drama.
Speaker, you know, most of the time when I've been staying here for a very long time without being given an opportunity to speak.
Honorable Salasya, is what is being alleged correct?
I don't know what he's talking about, because I don't run my social media platforms. So, Speaker, I've been carrying out my hand.
Honorable Salasya, the issue is, are you live streaming the proceedings and making unpalatable comments along the way?
Speaker, I don't know what the Mheshimiwa Ichungwah is talking about. What I just wanted, I also have my own contribution.
Honorable Salasya, be honorable, my dear young man. If you are not honorable, it's very easy for Parliament to ask for the logs on your phone and see what you are doing. If you say it is true, then the Speaker will take some other remedial action. If you don't, it's a matter that can find your way to the Powers and Privileges Committee with unintended consequences. Why are you doing so?
Maybe, Speaker, maybe I'll have to confirm with what he's talking about.
Honorable Salasya, you know dishonesty is not a virtue.
Speaker, I don't know what he's saying. Maybe I go and confirm what he's talking about, but I had also just raised my hand so that I can speak what I feel that I should speak.
Order, Honorable Salasya. I believe when you are in the chamber, you are listening and following proceedings. Take your seat. You are listening and following proceedings. And what we are discussing this afternoon is a very serious matter. The independence of this House is an issue. The leadership of this House is an issue. And every member who has spoken here, you've listened, your seniors, your peers, have been very focused. Even members who have sat for a long time, you complain that you've been raising your hand. There are many, Lotte here has been sitting here since. We have Ferdinand Wanyonyi here, Amze, has been sitting here since. The issue is, were you streaming the proceedings live and making comments along the way? Comments that your colleagues are saying are unpalatable. And that is the issue that has been raised by the member for Kikuyu.
Speaker,
You've even forgotten to switch off your phone. It's still streaming, I'm told.
here. So I don't know, maybe Honorable Ichungwah can say maybe what I've said.
Order, Honorable Salasya, what I'll do is I'll instruct the clerk to get the logs on your phone. And if I find that what is being alleged is correct, then I'll invite a member to file a complaint and refer it to the Powers and Privileges Committee for appropriate action. You can also be named.
By just watching this video, it becomes very clear that there is a certain competition that goes on just between Kimani Ichungwah and Peter Salasya, but even the Speaker himself, Moses Wetangula, seems to enjoy in a twisted way helping Kimani Ichungwah to bully the young MP from his own backyard. Without a doubt, there are those who will agree that Peter Salasya's unserious attitude needs to be limited sometimes, but also the way that he is able to rattle politicians who are big in power and full of ego and hubris like Ichungwah and Wetangula, and do it without losing character and the smile on his face, is something that seems to resonate very well with the young Gen Z voters who cannot stand some of these politicians and their pompous attitudes.
So, Honorable Salasya, I'm told you want to not to contribute because you are under quarantine on the issue raised. The clerk tells me you want to say something to that?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that whatever Mheshimiwa Ichungwah said, if I felt like maybe it was in bad intention, maybe I apologize. But Mr. Speaker, also, as we people...
Order, Honorable Salasya. Were you recording? Because you say if... You know, it's like there's no remorse. If you are recording, it is not permitted by our standing orders. So if you did that, I want to guide you as a young member, and I want you to grow in your leadership. There is a lot of decency, and the Bible says the greatest word in human relations is one word called sorry. If you did that, say sorry, and delete those logs, and we go on.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, I apologize and withdraw and delete.
Delete all those logs and let the clerk confirm.
Before taking a deep look into the fight and conflict between Kimani Ichungwah and Peter Salasya, it's important to ask why Peter Salasya seems to be happy about troubles that could be facing Mr. Ichungwah. it would appear that from his position of the majority leader, Kimani Ichungwah has managed to make a lot of enemies from both sides of the aisle in the Kenyan parliament. Kimani Ichungwah's position of always trying to belittle and put down everybody that he doesn't agree with in the House of Debate has made him to be likened to a student in class who is always sadistic and happy whenever he sees his fellow students being beaten up by the teacher. Similar to Farouk Kibet, it would seem that Kimani Ichungwah has made himself out to be the sacrificial lamb that will be hated by the others, as a way of him showing how capable he is to shield President William Ruto from criticism and attacks. Definitely, Kimani Ichungwah's loyalty to President William Ruto is undisputed, but it's the kind of loyalty that everybody except Ichungwah himself can see will end up costing him big politically in the near future. Many Kalenjin politicians close to President William Ruto, especially those without the premium education that Ichungwah likes to boast about that he got from Alliance Boys High School, usually seem to be unhappy about how Kimani Ichungwah likes to make himself out to be the golden-eyed boy for President William Ruto, and many see him as a man full of pride who doesn't have respect for a friend, brother or enemy.
Najua vile alifanya. Si mnaelewa?
Unafikiria hapa ni bunge? Hapa sio bunge Ichungwah. Unajua Ichungwah amesoea, anafikiri hawa watu ni watu wangu Ichungwah. Na wanajua kwa nini, so unajua wewe bunge tunakupigiana makofi, so ukifika area hii unatuliza.
It's very possible that since his childhood when he was still a prefect at the Alliance High School, Kimani Ichungwah might have taught himself that if you obey authority without questions, then that authority will protect you. And that's why, despite his high rank in the parliament, Kimani Ichungwah still finds it easy to run to the head teacher, who this time is Speaker Moses Wetangula, to report and cry every time one of his fellow MPs contradicts him, even though that MP is as junior as Peter Salasya. On the other hand, despite his jokes and light-natured personality, the Peter Salasya of Mumias East seems to be the exact opposite of Kimani Ichungwah, who doesn't seem to shake and piss his pants in fear because of the teacher on duty, Mr. Wetangula, and doesn't even have a hard time breaking the rules and even telling lies straight to the face of the head teacher, Mr. Wetangula. Salasya seems to be a man with his own spine, and this spine allows him to start his own fights and be able to stand the fire when the fights intensify, which is exactly what Peter Salasya did in Western Kenya on the day that he decided to challenge the President William Ruto right in front of Ruto himself, knowing very well after his words, every other person present would come to the microphone to attack him.
So Bwana Rais, mimi nitataka kusema ya kwamba let us involve stakeholders. Na tukiinvolve stakeholders, hata hiyo mtambo yako, mambo yako ya SHA itafanya kazi. Because we never involve the stakeholders in the decision like public and whatever. Lakini huko hapa, mimi nataka Bwana Rais, unichukue mimi, nikuwe personal advisor wako, unilipe. Lakini Bwana Rais, tukiwa hapa, nataka tujiulize swali moja. Swali ambayo nataka tujiulize, hii pesa ambayo tunaenda kuwapatia, imetoka kwa exchequer ama imetoka kwa hii kampuni yetu ya Mumias Sugar? Na kama kweli tunasema hii pesa imetoka kwa exchequer, tujue hii rais utueleze ya kwamba imetoka under which provision, kwa sababu haikuwa katika budget yetu.
To Moses Wetangula, this brave young man in parliament gives him fear and jealousy, knowing very well himself as a speaker, despite of his age, experience and high education as a lawyer. Today he doesn't have a lot of freedom to do and say as he wishes politically, something that Peter Salasya seems to be able to do freely, but he, Mr. Speaker, would have to ask permission from the president to take these kind of free-range political actions, even though Salasya is just another junior MP. Moses Wetangula seemed to understand, even in this conflict, that his position as Speaker and leader of the Ford Kenya Party are both in the hands of the president right now, and moving forward, Weta will need to continue obeying everything the president says even more than before, just to maintain his position in the parliament and to continue enjoying the perks that come with being Speaker of the National Assembly. When President William Ruto won the 2022 general elections, his campaigns had been run by young, brave politicians, many of whom were willing to say as they felt, as they wished and thought, without fearing President Uhuru Kenyatta. These young men who helped William Ruto do his campaign before 2022 were men like Kimani Ichungwah, Ndindi Nyoro, Aaron Cheruyot, and many others who were elected in parliament under the age of 45 years old. Those young men back then were very brave and they were not afraid to attack Uhuru Kenyatta and his candidate Raila Odinga. And every time they picked up the microphone, they'd say exactly what they were feeling without censorship or fear. The bravery of those young politicians back then, including Ichungwah, brought a certain kind of energy to William Ruto's campaign, the energy that was lacking from Raila Odinga's campaign on the other side, because Raila had chosen to surround himself with older men without energy but with money.
What's your take on Sisi Ndio Sifuna movement?
I don't know what movement that is.
Serious?
I don't.
Even though many of those young people from that campaign are still in President William Ruto's government to date, it would seem that their obligations right now and those of the president who they used to support prevent them to speak as freely as they used to speak back then when they still did not have the realities of being in charge of government. Or maybe they came to discover that President William Ruto is very different from Deputy President William Ruto. Further, in the short period they've been in government, many have grown out of shape physically and lost the urge to do hardline politics from the large sums of money they've been making since they joined government. And now there are many battles they can't fight and pronunciations they can't make, all in fear of losing the gains they have made in the 3 to 4 years that William Ruto has been in power. Now it won't be a surprise to see that in 2027, the youth of Peter Salasya's caliber will overcome the youth of Kimani Ichungwah and Aaron Cheruyot's caliber.